Hey everyone, RJ here with CV Tech, and today I'm going to give a little mini review of the Umidigi 1 Max. Now I've had this phone for almost 2 weeks. I have been using this phone quite consistently over those 2 weeks, and I gotta say, for the most part, this phone has been a great phone. Okay, this phone costs $179 right now on Amazon. Of course, prices can change, but at the time of this video here, it is $179. And for what you're getting with this phone, you're getting a lot, okay? The hardware of this phone is super premium feeling, okay? It's like flagship style premium design. I mean, it feels good in the hand. It's got a really hefty feel to it. The glass on glass and aluminum body, it just, oh man, this thing just looks, it feels really nice. Taking this back cover off here to really show just how beautiful that twilight color is. I mean, look at that thing. I mean, look at that color. Man, it's just a sweet looking phone. This phone also comes in like a carbon fiber look as well, which looks really sharp, but I just like this twilight color. But like I may mention, for the most part, this phone has been good, but it does have one serious issue and a few little things that I just don't like about the phone. But for the price point and what you're getting, you know, if these problems or the problem that I'm having is limited to a few, and if for the most part it's not widespread, it ain't gonna be that big of a deal. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So looking here at the specs, this phone runs the MediaTek Helio P23 processor, which honestly has been very solid. Okay, I've not seen any lag, any slowdowns. This phone has just been jetting along, works very well, have no issues whatsoever with performance. Performance has just been great. Phone's got 4 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabytes of internal storage. It's got wireless charging, it's got NFC, dual camera setup. Not sure if one camera is fake or not, I have no idea, but you know, it is what it is. If it is, it is. Anyway. This phone also has a SD card slot, so you can, you know, add an SD card for extra storage if you need it. I mean, 128 gigs is really good in a phone at this price range, okay? 4 gigabytes of RAM. Some will say, oh, 4 gigabytes of RAM, that's good enough for a budget phone. But if you look at it, the Galaxy S9 has 4 gigabytes of RAM. The Pixel 3 has 4 gigabytes of RAM. So, and they're flagship phones. So, you know, it is what it is. So anyway, moving on with my experience with the phone, like I made mention, it's been solid. On top there, get your secondary microphone. On the left is your SD and SIM tray right up there. Now you do have a SIM tool included, so that right there is how you access your SIM card and SD card. The back is non-removable and the battery is non-removable. So wanted to throw that out there as well. The phone is a kind of a thick phone, but it's not bad. It's just a really nice design. On the bottom, you do have USB Type-C with a 3.5mm headphone jack, microphone, bottom firing speaker. Now this phone does indeed have stereo speakers. If you're watching YouTube, listening to music, and you cover the bottom speaker up, you can definitely hear sound coming out of the receiver. So it ain't the best sounding speakers in the world. They do sound kind of tiny. It does get pretty loud, but you know, as far as premium stereo speakers go, I don't see it in this phone, but it's passable, and honestly, it's not much of a problem. And up top there, of course, you'll see a little teardrop notch, and your receiver way up there hidden. On the right side is, of course, your fingerprint scanner, as well as your power button and your volume rockers. And on the back, of course, like I said, is your flash, camera, and the Umidigi branding right there. Now the fingerprint scanner is already set up on this phone, of course. And that's one thing that I want to get into here in a minute that kind of annoys me with this phone. But looking at the phone here, the display is, I want to say 1520 by 720, which is an HD plus display. And honestly, the screen looks good, okay? It's not the sharpest screen in the world, but to be honest with you, the screen looks really good. And the phone flies, okay? The phone, it just cruises along. I've not had any issues with it. I've not seen any slowdowns, any freezing, any lagging. it's been a really good experience performance-wise with that P23 processor. The battery is a 4150 milliamp hour battery, but the battery, in my opinion, is just okay. I can get through a full day with no problems, but I expected a lot more battery life than what I get out of this phone, but it's still very passable. You can get through a whole day on this phone. Also has wireless charging, I think I made mention of, and it's fast charging, and this thing charges pretty quick. I mean, I haven't really timed how fast it charges, and I don't have a wireless charger to test out wireless charging on this phone, but it has it. Now, I'm currently using the T-Mobile network, and this is kind of where it gets a little bit, I don't know how to put it, but I'll show you right here. If I pull the drop down, instead of it saying T-Mobile like other unlocked phones do, it shows AT&T data connection only. And when I first powered this phone on with the T-Mobile SIM card in there, it showed Verizon Wireless. And I was like, what? Okay, what's going on there? And look at the APN settings. As I go into the settings here, and I will show you here in the mobile network and APN, I'm definitely on T-Mobile, fast.tmobile.com. And it does have T-Mobile service, no problem. Right now, I am on Wi-Fi calling because, of course, there is no T-Mobile service in my area. Now, while I'm on this screen, if you haven't seen it already, something on this phone just kind of popped up out of nowhere. It wasn't there when I first powered it on, but after a couple of days, it just came out of nowhere. And if you haven't seen it yet, right there. Okay, if you look in between the home button and the recents button, there is a bright white circle. Okay, and that just came out of nowhere. It's not that bright on camera, but when you look at it, it's very noticeable. And nah, I just can't stand that being there. You can see it on the home screen as well. Not as pronounced, but you can see it. And I'm afraid that because that's there, it might pop up more on other parts of the screen. So that right there, nah. That's one thing right there that really kind of annoys me, is how that kind of just came out of nowhere, and it's very visible and very easy to see. Now, another thing that I want to hit on here is the side-mounted fingerprint scanner. I will probably never buy another phone with a side-mounted fingerprint scanner, okay? You got the phone laying down, you pick it up, it's right there where your other fingers can rub against it, and you can feel it vibrating, and after just a few times, it says fingerprint unlock, retry. Go to unlock it, and now mine's frozen. That's a major glitch with my phone, okay? It freezes in this position right here, and give it a few seconds, it'll power off. And then I'll show you what it says, because it must be a major defect in this phone. And hopefully all other Umidigi 1 Maxes don't have this problem. Right now it says powering off, and the phone is shutting down. So you'll see here in just a moment here what this phone does all the time if you're mastering the fingerprint scanner, or even if you just don't use the fingerprint scanner, push the power button, try to unlock it with a pattern, it'll do this quite often. It freezes, it powers off. But this is the worst part right here. This screen pops up. It brings up Android recovery, can't load Android system. It does this over and over again. It's done it at least 10 times since I've had this phone. It says, can't load Android system. Your data may be corrupt. If you continue to get this message, you may need to perform a factory data reset and erase all user data stored on this device. It gives you an option to try again or to factory reset. So we'll push the power button to try again. Gives you an error message. It powers back off. And it comes back on with the Umidigi screen here, as you'll see. So keeping this short as possible, but I want to just tell you the problems I'm having with this phone right now. And there's a little Umidigi logo, as you see right there. And now we're back here at the lock screen. So we're going to go ahead and you got to, of course, do the pattern required. And then we're going to use a pattern. And now we're back here at the main screen. So that's a big issue right there for me. That's something right there that really warrants an exchange, a refund, or whatever the case may be, because it constantly does that. One day it's going to crash, it's going to erase everything, or it's just going to go out on me. And honestly, I can't really have that. But as you see right there, that was the biggest problem that I have with this device. Another little pet peeve of mine on this phone here is that whenever you get notifications, they do not show up on the top part of the screen like a lot of other phones do. You got to swipe down, and the notifications, when you have any, will be up in here. Shows right there, voice over Wi-Fi. You see right there with your Wi-Fi, your coverage, and all of that, your battery life. Swipe away, and there you go. Okay, I have nothing right now coming through to show y'all, but so far I haven't found a way to have your notifications on top of the screen. So if you want to see notifications or what just came through, then you have to, pull the drop down and it'll be up here on top. Also, this phone has an issue that I've seen, that whenever a notification comes through, sometimes it will come through here. It'll turn on this screen, which is just fine and dandy to show you notifications, but it stays on and it stays on and on until you power the phone back off. It won't just turn back off like this right here is doing and go off. It lights up and it stays lit up until you power the phone back into sleep mode. So that's just a few pet peeves I've had so far with this phone, and some are minor. That one is major, and honestly, I'm hoping that all Umidigi phones are not like that, because this is a great phone and an overall great performing phone, especially at the price point that you can buy this phone for at $179. Now, are there better phones on the market for that price? Oh, most definitely. Most definitely, yes. This does have wireless charging. Yes, it does have NFC. Yes, it has plenty of storage, a really good fast processor and all that kind of good stuff. But, having this phone right here and having it already having that kind of issue where it can't load the Android system, that's just a big for me. Now, cameras. I'm going to hit this here very briefly, but cameras is not this phone's strong suit. I'm going to take one picture here of my fan remote. I'm going to focus in, take a picture. Now, if you're very still taking a picture, you can get a decent photo. Okay, we're going to focus in, or we're going to zoom in here, and the picture, it looks good. Okay, it's clear, it's vibrant. It's not the best in the world, but honestly, if you're in a very well lit environment taking a picture, yes, you got to be very, very still. But the camera setup on this phone is awful. I mean, it is just, the settings are horrible. Got picture, video mode, and these are your settings. Normal, stereo mode, which is like a portrait effect, and these are your settings. I mean, there's just nothing there. It's just bland. I mean, I don't know, but I know it sounds like that I'm bashing the phone more than I am anything, when I'm really not. It's just that the whole issue with the can't load Android system, if you match the fingerprint, and even if sometimes you just use the pattern or pin to get into the phone, it just freezes up and goes to that screen, Android recovery screen, and makes you either try it again or give it a factory hard reset. And who wants to do that all the time, So that's my biggest issue, is the fingerprint scanner. It's good, but I've used better. It's not always the most accurate in the world. The cameras is not very good. Hopefully they'll update it or something to make it a whole lot better than what it is. But right now the cameras are really bad. It's just bad. Okay, video recording is not very good. Frame rate is not very good. Cameras can take pretty good photos if you're perfectly still with the phone, cause no optical image stabilization along with the bad frame rate. It's just, even in good lighting, the frame rate is just not that good. And along with this down here at the bottom of the screen, not really sure what you call that, but this little marking down here that's kind of bleeding through the screen, that right there, of course, is a no-go for me, because it's liable to pop up anywhere on the screen. If one shows up, it's liable to start showing up everywhere. So my performance overall is really good for performance. It does very well in that field. I mean, plenty of storage, plenty of RAM. The processor is fast. The phone is like a flagship premium design. I mean, it feels very sturdy in the hand. It looks good. Had that 6.3-inch display, a 1520 by 720 HD plus. And overall, I really do like the phone, and I use this phone on Total Wireless, which is Verizon. My Total Wireless SIM card, I threw it in the phone. It started working immediately. I didn't have to change anything. So I can use it on Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, but it's just really funny that when I power the phone on, and there we go again. Let's try to unlock it without it freezing, and there we go again. It just froze up again. So you can see it does this all the time, and yeah, it's just very annoying. So I want to skip through this part here, and I'll finish this up. Okay, so we're back on. Let's try this again. Hopefully this is just an isolated thing and it's not a widespread thing with this phone, with that issue, especially that big issue with it, you know, powering off, going to recovery mode by itself because it freezes up because it can't load Android. That's just a big thing there. But, you know, other than that, I mean, the performance has been great. It's a flying phone. The thing flies. And so I will follow up with my final review here before too awful long. I'm going to play some games with it and stuff like that and show you how all that does. So anyway, that's all I got to say about it right now. I don't really have a yes or no recommendation on this phone as of yet. I know probably seeing that problem with the phone probably turned a lot of y'all off from this phone already, but hopefully it's just isolated. Hopefully it's not widespread. So if this was helpful and informative, hit that like button. Any questions that you may have, leave it below, and I'll get back with you as soon as possible. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Hit that bell for post notifications. I'd appreciate it. Y'all have a good one, and thanks for watching.